You might not have noticed it, but apparently Donald Trump is still secretly in the White House. At least if you're listening to pro-Trump attorney Lynnwood, who recently shared proof to his giant following that Trump, he's still your president. Absolute bonkers. Absolute high as a kite copium. And I thought, like, at the very least, people could see the obvious, but alas, no, they can't. My hopes for humanity have once again been dashed, set on fire, and the ashes blasted to outer space. They're in orbit right now. The Trump-loving lawyer claimed to his 840,000 followers on Telegram that he was in the White House just, wandering around. Because that's something that you can do now, apparently. I mean, despite the fact that January 6th was an attempted Capitol insurrection and that every place around Washington, D.C. Is not now layered upon layer of security, but apparently Lynnwood can just just kind of walk around the White House and kind of meander and all that stuff. And he was there for a specific person or a specific reason, looking for a specific person. And that was Joe Biden. He's like, oh, I'm looking for Uncle Joe. And I'm looking, I don't see him. But you know who I see? I'm walking around and I go into the Oval Office. And who do I see sitting behind the Resolute desk? Why, none other than President Donald Trump. Wow. Here's what he wrote. This is literal. I was right. No Joey in the Oval Office, but I did run into our President of the United States. President Trump is hanging out and working in the office in which we reelected him to serve in a historic landslide victory on November 3rd, 2020. And by the way, here's what he posted on his Telegram for proof. Could he be in that office? I don't he can legally be there, but I will check before I leave. I was right. Oh my God. No. There's a host of problems. And I guess if you could look at Lynnwood's mental state, that could be a completely different problem. But this picture, the picture that he showed as proof, was actually taken back in February and posted on March of 2020. This man, Lynnwood, is so. Remember, I tell you, like, okay. So the biggest advice to people who deal out drugs, I know, believe me, just stay with me, okay? Is don't get high on your own supply. Well, when it comes to copium, never get high on your own supply. You know why? Because you turn into Lynnwood. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's sad. It's so pathetically sad at this point. I mean, I want to make fun of him, but really, it feels like it's punching down. I mean, like it feels like I'm picking on somebody who's not quite there. Doesn't quite understand. But there it is. I mean, get some help, dude. How's he able to even tie his own shoe? The shoes are a deep state conspiracy. Let me tell you. Shoes are a way for the government to track us. That's why I walk around barefoot. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The whole thing is just such a deep level of copium that I will never, ever seem to understand. I mean, how can you look at something that's super obviously, yes, Biden is president of the United States, whether you like him or not? Look, for 4 years, I sat around saying, yes, Donald Trump is president of the United States. That's insane. That's crazy. But there's no doubt about the fact that he is literally in the White House right now. Facts are facts, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not. They are facts. Joe Biden is in the White House. That is a fact. That is a fact. But they will look at this and they say, some conservatives will look at this and be like, not true. Not true. He's not in the White House. No. I will now believe in something completely off the wall insane. Why? Because it makes me feel good. You know those studies where some conservatives, this is what makes me think of, right? Some conservatives are happier than people on the left. I love how, and this kind of ties back into a couple of different things. You got conservatives out there saying, oh, liberal. They're not happy. Liberalism, mental disorder. Look at all the people who are liberal that have depression and anxiety. It must be liberalism is a mental disorder, right? Well, you realize that just more people happen to be liberal with that accept reality. Okay, reality can be downright goddamn depressing. I'm just saying, and you know, the thing about conservatives being happier, it's because ignorance truly is bliss. You know, the real world has been fucked up by some of those many of the same conservatives who don't believe that, you know, police brutality is against black people is happening, or, and of course in other cases they like it, or they don't believe that wildfires and floods are getting more severe due to climate change. They would rather believe in Jewish laser beams causing wildfires. They don't consider any of that stuff because they choose to just reject facts. Again, ignorance is bliss. And yes, Republicans absolutely have, you know, anxiety, depression. But again, I'm just going off their narrative, right? And their narrative is, oh, you know, it's only liberals that have something wrong with them. They don't actually believe in it. It's ridiculous. But again, this it kind of explains why not only do they lie so brazenly, but do it with a smile. They will sit there and they will argue how, no, facts are not real. Rainbows are a liberal plot to steal your soul. Or in this case, apparently another conspiracy spread by Lynnwood or people around him that he believes in is that the real Joe Biden died at some point and has been replaced by a body double, which doesn't make sense. I mean, why is that even a conspiracy? And by the way, it's also kind of lazy because they said the same thing about Hillary Clinton. And you know what's also funny about that? And this ties into QAnon, which they all believe in, or a lot of them believe in too. Okay, well, but if Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, whatever, they're part of the satanic cannibal pedophile cult, whatever, that are drinking the adrenochrome out of children, how can they be dead or have died or still look old if they're doing that? I mean, it's insane. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. How is this man still a lawyer? Honestly, I don't get it. How has he not been like disbarred? You can't trust a damn thing that he says. I know. It's just, why is he not a laughingstock everywhere he goes? I don't get it. And I think the answer is because there's a significant amount of Americans that have lost their minds. I mean, honestly, ideological bubbles, YouTube algorithms, they literally like drive people to more and more insane radical content, which either gives legitimately crazy people a platform, or more likely it gives people who are willing to peddle bullshit like this to feed into other people's delusions. I mean, seriously, it just, people like Alex Jones, for example, come to mind, right? Who else? People like Kenneth Copeland, Rick Wiles, a lot of these far-right conspiracy theorists with their own shows that peddle BS and get people to believe in insane things and exploit them essentially for clicks and cash. And that's what it is. And by the way, one last thought here about that is that Republicans keep saying, "Oh, we're in a divided nation. We're a divided country." Now they say that in the context of, and that's why liberals should turn around and give us everything that we want, even though that we have been kicked out of power. When in reality, we're divided more than anything, not just on ideological grounds, but really on people who believe in factual information and people who don't. They don't. And for those people who don't believe in factual information, I've got no use for you. You do not need to be given any consideration, even any air. You choose not to live in reality, where there are objective facts, then we're going to move on without you. We don't need you in this conversation. You don't belong to sit at the kiddie, at the adults table. You get to sit at the kiddie table. Okay? See ya. We have no time for this BS. We actually have real problems to solve, whether you believe it or not. And to those who are, of course, and there's a couple of different Republicans, as I've said. There are the people that are being exploited, and then there are those who exploit them on the right. You don't belong in any real conversation if you're either of those people until you come to reality with the rest of us. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.